Hey everyone, I am here today with Shannon Toner. She is the founder of Protect Her Inc. It is a nonprofit that provides menstrual health education. Hey Shannon, thanks for joining me today.
Hi, Sally. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, of course. I'm so excited to talk to you today about Protect Her Inc. Could you tell us a little bit about your nonprofit and also how you came to create this?
Yeah, definitely. So, we provide menstrual health education. We focus on youth, and it was born out of a personal experience of mine. So, my menstrual health journey started off on a very rocky foot. I got menstrual toxic shock within my first year of getting my period, and that put me in a coma, left me with like a lot of different, yeah, coming right out the gates with it. Um, put me in a coma, left me with a lot of side effects. The mental ones were really the hard ones to deal with, but the physical ones persisted like every single month. And I just always thought that that was a side effect of menstrual toxic shock and that I couldn't do anything about it. I was on prescription painkillers for cramps when I was in my teens, and I had tried birth control at one point. And I just always thought that painful periods and heavy bleeding and all of the symptoms were a part of menstrual toxic shock and I couldn't fix it. And it got really, really bad in my late 20s. And I believe this coincides with when I got off of those prescription painkillers in combination with having a really stressful job. And it got to a point where I was ready for a hysterectomy, to be completely honest. I was looking into getting one, and I fell down a Reddit rabbit hole, actually, of all places, because I started trying to find the link between painful periods and menstrual toxic shock syndrome. And I couldn't find much, but what started to come up was things like endometriosis and PCOS and all of the different, conditions that are now being recognized. And I had all of the symptoms that these women were talking about in these forums, and there were hundreds of comments. And this had never been brought up like by my doctors or anything. And so I just kept researching and researching. And I, at one point, was going to schedule an endometriosis consult, but the wait time was like 4 months. And I was also looking into the cost, and they can be up to $10,000 for the laparoscopy. That's the surgery that you need. Yeah. The you can do an ultrasound, but it's not super effective. And I also saw a woman in the forum say they got an ultrasound and then they didn't get answers, and then they had to do the laparoscopy anyway. So that also gave me anxiety that I just wanted to go right to the laparoscopy, and I was nervous that they were going to try and make me do the ultrasound first, and it was going to delay it more because my periods were unbearable. It was affecting 50% of my life, like emotionally leading up to it, and then the pain during it. And so, in the wait time of that 4 months for waiting for the endometriosis consult, I talked to my best friend's mom, who is a homeopath. And I also was watching all of the different period documentaries, like doing as much research as possible. And I found a menstrual health coach. So I hired both of them simultaneously, and the homeopath was really regulating a lot of my anxiety and getting me to like neutral. And the menstrual health coach was really teaching me how to fuel my body and basically cycle sync, if you're familiar with that. And I didn't fix it in the 4 months, but I noticed enough improvements that I decided to cancel my endometriosis consult because I was like, okay, I'll try the natural route first and just see. Like I just started this. I'll give it a little bit more time. If I don't have to be cut open and whatever, then great. And I just kept seeing slow improvements. And by I don't know, within 6 months, like I had a painless period. And so it was a light bulb to me that if we get educated on it, and I knew about all of this stuff beforehand, one, it would have saved me over a decade of being on prescription painkillers and painful periods and being disconnected from my body and also being really confused and not having answers and also just being able to live a more optimal, healthy life. And so that to me said we need to just teach about the menstrual cycle and how to live with it. Like I learned so much in that short period of time, and I'm still learning a lot. And there's just so much we don't know. So I wanted to teach people that because it doesn't take getting menstrual toxic shock for you to have a painful period. And over like 80% of women do have pain around their period. And a lot of the menstrual coaches that I spoke to, they said one of their challenges is they get women once they're in their 20s or 30s and they're trying to have a baby, or their periods are so painful, like mine was, that they're doing a lot of relearning and reteaching. So they're like, not only do I have to teach this new information, I also have to show the woman a different way of thinking and kind of unlearn all of the things that they have been taught for so long, like pain is normal and this is just what it's like to be a woman. So I really want to change that. And that's why I started a nonprofit and we focus on youth, because if we change how we talk about periods and menstrual cycles early on and we teach them how to work with them, it will improve and it will go away. We just have been taught such awful beliefs, in my opinion. Like they're just terrible. I mean, you Google when I'm making something like an illustration on Canva even, or going on Google trying to find images for period products, it's all women buckled over in pain. And it's common, but that's not normal.
Yeah.
So, and I think a
Suffering has
lot of
been
it could be
normalized.
prevented. What did you say?
Suffering has been normalized for sure.
Yes.
And
Yes.
not normal.
Yes.
It's not normal.
And it ends up you're missing, it's not just your period that's painful, like those are signs from your body that something else is going on too. So it's more than just, oh, having a painful period for a week. Like, no, it also, I mean, it's seen as the fifth vital sign and it can predict cardiovascular health, bone density issues, fertility, if you want to go that route later in life. So it really shouldn't be ignored. And we've just been ignoring it. And it's insane to me that I had the opportunity to create this nonprofit because it hasn't been done. That to me is the craziest part of all of this.
Yes. I mean, we're
Oh,
definitely like, I think, late to the game, even discussing things like this. But
yeah.
you had mentioned working with the youth. So what ages do you work with?
So ideally, we start at 7. So, like in a perfect world, we start getting this education in schools twice a year from age 7 on, because it really, you need to build on it. And what it is at 7, because that I think to some people that sounds really young, but at home, I have a lot of people tell me that their kids follow them in the bathroom by the age that they're 3. So they do get an understanding and they can pick up on it. The reason that we start at 7 is because the average age of onset menses is around 11, but it's getting younger and more are getting it at 8, 9, 10. And it's more, I know. It's more effective to teach it beforehand, so you're being proactive, because if you wait until after they get a period, that first moment is really crucial for them to know what to happen. I mean, if you go into a bathroom and you get your period at 8 years old and you have blood in the toilet and you've never heard about that before, that's really traumatizing. And you don't know who to ask, you don't know what to do, you think that something's wrong with you. So it sets you up on a path where you're going to have this for 40 years, and your first moment with it was scary and isolating because you're alone. And if we can change that by just simply talking about it more openly, it's such an easy fix that will change so much. It'll change the way like a girl feels in her body, like how she looks at it. It'll make her feel more confident because she'll be more adept to take care of herself.
How to ask for help?
So, yeah, exactly. Like who to go to, like how to be prepared. I mean, you tell kids to study for tests, and you tell kids to take swimming lessons before they jump in the pool. So I look at it like I'm getting off on a tangent here, but I look at it like the tooth fairy, which is celebrated. And I think that that's so cool and so fun, and kids look forward to that. I mean, if they didn't know and their teeth started falling out, that would be scary. But
Right.
it's not, because we warn them about it. We tell them what to do. You bring the tooth to mom or dad or a parent or adult, and then you get a prize for it,
Right.
usually, or like, congrats. So we ideally would start in schools at 7 so that that way they can be prepared. And what that looks like is really just talking about it, talking about introducing the body parts so that their initial reaction isn't, ew, what? Like, and make it so that it's really not a big deal. I mean, we all have the body parts. So if we make it not a big deal, kids are going to think it's not a big deal. Like, we set that tone. So starting with 7 is really just like the vocab, the introduction. We would give the opportunity to ask questions either in private or like anonymous. We have that on our website, anonymous questions. So in case people are shy or not ready to talk about it, then there's still an opportunity for them to get their questions answered.
That's so amazing. I mean, my education was some Judy Blume books. And maybe in fifth grade we had like a weird video where they separated the girls.
But the movie, that's what we always call it. It was like the
It
movie.
was so confusing and it made no sense. But I just remember the teacher saying something like, one day you'll like boys. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe not. We don't know. We don't know that for sure. Um, yeah, I don't remember there being a much comprehensive education, but also to your point, like if we do, if generationally, if you come with shame into this or secretiveness, and that's how like everything starts, then that's going to be passed down to the next generation. So I love that you're getting in there super early and talking about things from a biological perspective and normalizing what is happening. And, prevention is so important, and setting people up for success, so that these kids can know who to go to, know who to talk to. Is it your teacher? Is it the school nurse? Is it a parent? So tell us a little bit about your website. You had mentioned that there's some Q&A on the website. So let's say that I have a 12-year-old daughter who doesn't want to talk to me about it. Then could I send her to the website and feel confident that she's getting good information?
Yeah, so we have a page, I think it's under the resources tab, that's a Q&A, which you can submit anonymously, and we receive it. We post all of the questions anonymously on our website, so that way, in case anybody else has that same question, they can go and look. And we have menstrual coaches or doctors answer that question.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And do you, you started this last year, is that correct? The nonprofit officially has status.
Yes, I registered it almost a year ago, and then I spontaneously moved across the country and,
It happens.
and then like had to look into whether I had to re-register it, and that took a couple months. So I feel like I only started it like within 6 to 8 months ago, but technically a year ago.
Okay, great. So your goals for this organization are to, um, are you looking to work as like workshops or classes, or work directly with people one-on-one, or more working in like school systems?
Yeah. So both, I know that school systems will be our long game because there's just more of the approval process. So we've spoken to organizations who are already in schools to partner with them to put our programs on through them, since they already have relationships with schools, which I don't think we'll get to this year, just given that it's already almost April, which is crazy. But in the meantime, webinars, workshops are things that we are doing to get to like smaller groups. Um, and then also, like, if parents wanted us to come and just talk to a group of kids, then we would do that. It's really, really flexible and able to cater it, since we have the way it works is we have 4 different levels with the curriculum, and it's separated by grade/age, since you are technically you have two ages per grade. So it's like level one, two, three, four, and there's like foundation, development, intermediate, advanced. And it starts with grades one to three, four to six, then level three is just seven and eight, and then nine to 12 is level four. So it builds, there's like overlap with each thing, but the attention spans of kids are so short, I mean, rightfully so. And so a lot of the curriculum, they're like having it be two times a year, it does a little bit of overlap and refresh, and then it just builds upon. So starting with things as simple as introducing different period products so that they know and like what to look for. I mean, I've had on my social media accounts girls commenting and asking, like telling me that they can't use a pad because it gets stuck to them. So they're literally putting a pad on the wrong way and not knowing that the sticky side is supposed to go in the underwear, which like I think, forget, I mean, a lot of people are lucky that their parents are there to teach them. Not everybody is that lucky. I mean, I know when I got my first period, I was a late-ish bloomer. My mom was a really late bloomer. My mom, I think, got hers at 18.
Whoa.
And yeah, and she was really, really small. And I got mine at 14 and my mom wasn't home, but like at 14, I was waiting for it to happen. I could not wait. Anytime I got the slightest cramp, I'd like run to the bathroom thinking I got it. I was just so ready. But so I knew, but even at 14, my mom wasn't home at the time. I had to call her on the phone and walk me through it. But a lot of girls don't have that. So, in the absence of parents, they would be looking to school. I know a lot of them go online for it. So, we do a weekly YouTube video where we just kind of go through starting with like the basics of like what are different products? Okay, now how do you use them? What are the pros and cons of each? So, there's just a lot, and I think you have to keep talking about it and also just like keep reminding girls about different things because there's so much going on, especially in middle school and high school. Like they've got sports and I don't know, there's so many things. So
It's true.
yeah.
And, that's such a great example because like you don't think about that, especially if even if it is your own daughter and you've had your period for how long, like you're just thinking like, oh, you just use this, but if it's your first time ever using a product like that, it is a little confusing. Um,
Yeah.
and I kind of talked about those Judy Blume books. I feel like all the books I read were also talking about things that had happened previously. And there's like new products now. There's like period panties now. Like that was not around when I was a kid. There's the Diva Cup, things like that. There's a whole wide spectrum of products that, maybe even your parents don't know. So teaching this in school, I think is really important.
Yeah. Yeah. I think also just like recognizing that every girl is going to get a period. So, and regardless of what they do later, we try and make it more of health rather than like sexual health. So obviously it plays a role and we get more into that in like the level four, but in those early eight like years, like we don't, it's not sexual health, it's puberty.
Yeah.
So also try because I know a lot of people are like, that's so young for them to know about that stuff. It's like know about what stuff? Like something that's gonna happen to their body and inevitably, and like
Right. And saying that's young is saying that there's something either shameful or, we shouldn't be talking about it. And we should be talking about it. And it should absolutely be normalized because, I mean, even within the realm of having a period, the 28-day cycle is not everybody's cycle. There's a
Mhm.
lot of nuance that happens in there and learning what's happening and talking about the follicular phase and all of that stuff. I mean, there's adults who don't understand the cycle.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny when I talk to adults about it, and I can always kind of gauge what their relationship with their period is based on how they respond to what I say I do. And it's also a little sad for me when I start talking about cycle syncing or different parts of the cycle to an older, or not older, but like middle-aged woman, and she doesn't know. And I just think, oh my God, you went through your whole cycle and you didn't know this stuff. Like, and I didn't know about it in high school or college, but it would have been so helpful if I did, just understanding how I'm going to feel and what my body's going to need. I mean, it's crazy that we don't know that. It's
Yes, it is crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Like it,
it's
yeah,
simple things.
yeah,
Like when people ask me, I'm like, the simplest thing that you can start implementing is warmer foods the week before your period and on your period. And then you're going to want colder, fresher stuff after your period, like the 10 to 14 days. And I'm like, and just notice that like it's in you can build on it. I think sometimes cycle syncing, people ask me about seed cycling, which can sound like a lot. And it is a lot, but if we start knowing it right from the get-go, the same way we teach that fruits and vegetables are healthy and we need those portions, it'll be like second nature.
absolutely. I remember being in massage school and learning if I cut out dairy the week before my period, I had no cramps. Like the first time I did it, zero cramps. Like it was a game changer. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect and I did it all the time, but like that one little thing that worked with me, and maybe that's not going to work with everyone, but finding these little habits, it really is little habits. Uh,
Yeah.
I know you also know Nishi, the company that does menstrual health products. The cacao spread, amazing. First,
So I haven't tried that yet, but
uh,
their protein powder.
it's
I
so good.
tell everyone about it. I'm like, you don't understand because we're all trying to get more protein. I was like,
Yeah,
but this one also helps with your cramps and helps with your cycle, and it tastes good. It's
yeah,
the best tasting protein powder I've ever had. I mean,
yeah,
I only put milk in it. I can't do that with any of my other protein
yeah.
powders. It tastes like garbage. This one, all I do is put milk in it, a couple ice cubes, and the first, so I just had last month was the first period I had after using it consecutively. And I was like, hold on, hold on. Because I had my period good when I moved out here, and then I was all out of whack for a little bit. And then I started getting back on track, but still some things were like lingering. And then I had the niche, and I was like, I don't want to jinx it, but that's the only thing that I did differently.
Yeah, and it's like it's pronounceable products. It's nothing crazy. It's not made in a lab. Okay, you got to
Yeah,
try the cacao spread though. I mean,
I know.
I swear she's not paying me to say any of this. It's like I go
No,
on
me neither.
about it. Like,
No, I text her. I texted
yeah,
her. I was like, I don't know what it's perfect. Like I didn't have any cramps. My period went back to the 5 days. Like
insane.
and I love her story.
Yes, yes,
She made it for her daughter's not feeling good.
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
also
it's
like, how
amazing.
did you know how to do all of that?
Totally, totally. Yeah, she's brilliant, and I love her stuff so much. So.
Yeah.
She's really great. I also know a chiropractor, Dr. Allison Adams, is actually adjusting based on your cycle, where you are in your cycle. I know fitness instructors who are starting to train based on where you are in your cycle. It's actually more beneficial to rest during certain times and
Yes.
to do more vigorous workouts during certain times. And when you do that, you're more effective. So
Hmm.
I love that this information is coming. I definitely think it should have come 100 years ago, but I'll take it now. Like, I love the work you're doing. I think we need
Thank
to
you.
normalize the menstrual cycle and knowing about it and knowing what it is. I think everyone should do it regardless of your gender. I think we should normalize it across the board and eradicate any shame around it. Like, why is it?
Yeah,
Well, it makes no sense.
totally. I think it's so funny, like just when men don't know certain things, it's like how, how do you not know? One of my roommates told me recently she did DoorDash, I think it was DoorDash, one of those sites to get tampons, and they canceled the whole order because the guy didn't know. Because yeah. Like I think the thing she wanted was out of stock and she was just talking to me and she was like, but if it was a woman, she would have known that any product when you're ordering delivery, like you don't really get those ahead of, you know what I mean? Like you if you're ordering them and it was late at night. So she was like, we would have put two and two. Like I'm not preparing, and it was
Right.
the only thing that she was buying.
Right. Right.
And
I need it
so,
now. I need it now. I
yeah.
can't leave the house to get it. I
He
need
was
to
like,
get
I had leaked through at a dinner and I was in the shower and I got out of the shower and they canceled the order because what I wanted was out of stock. But a woman would have known like any similar product would have
it.
done.
Yes. Yes.
And so she was like, I didn't, she's like, then I had to go figure it
Totally.
out.
Totally. Totally. It's true. It's true. Oh my gosh, I could talk to you all day about this. Okay. Thank you so much for talking to me. So, I feel like we could talk for a whole other solid hour about all of
Yeah.
this, but let's go ahead and give the people what they want. How can people find you?
So our website is www.protectherinc.com, it's like INC. And on there you'll find links to all of our other socials. LinkedIn, YouTube. We do weekly videos on like how to's, TikTok. TikTok probably has the most, but I'm moving those over to YouTube Shorts. Instagram is just Protect Her Inc. That also has information. And I think all of my personal stuff is linked in there, which basically I just post about all of the same things with different books that I'm reading or whatnot. But it should all be on you can find everything through our
Yeah,
website.
I love your videos, so I highly suggest
Thank
it.
you.
It's really great and informative, which is great.
Amazing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking a little bit. And
Thank
all of the stuff will
you.
be in the link below with all the so you can check out Shannon and Protect Her Inc.
Thank you so much, Sally. I'll talk to you later.
Of course. Thank you.